Happy 5th of July. I hope everyone had a happy 4th. Usually the 5th is leftover day. What I mean by that is you're shooting off all the leftover fireworks, getting rid of the leftover alcohol, cleaning up all the leftover trash. It's a solid leftover day. People think the Friday after Thanksgiving is for leftovers. Oh no, y'all ought to see some of these people, hear the fireworks, and see the trash on July 5th. But when I think about July 4th, I think two things. One of those things is summed up on The Simpsons,
Celebrate the independence of your nation by blowing up a small part of it.
and I did that. I did that, definitely did that. And the other is what we should all think about, and that is freedom. The freedom that has been afforded to us with the Declaration of Independence. Also, the freedom given to us in those amendments. And it is those amendments and the responsibilities of those that I want to discuss. So let's get into it. So let's talk about the Freedom Amendment, the first one. The First Amendment gives us a crap ton of freedoms. America, fuck yeah! Let's check it out. Right here, the First Amendment of the United States Constitution protects 5 fundamental freedoms. I bet y'all didn't know that, because what's the only thing discussed repeatedly over and over and over again? It is freedom of speech, freedom of speech, freedom of speech. Well, it gives us freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of the press, freedom to assemble, and the freedom to petition. It prevents the government from infringing on these rights, ensuring that individuals can practice their religion freely, express their views without censorship, access information, gather peacefully, and appeal to the government for redress of grievances. America, fuck yeah! Now, each of those, granted, get their own video. Easily, they can all get their own video. But there are two that I want to address because they are the two that are misunderstood and abused the most. And that is the freedom of speech and the press.
Please, go on.
Those are the two things that I really want to focus on right now because something happened recently. Something happened with old President 4547. And that is this. On the Daily Mail, which used to be a good site, but they're showing me their bias. I digress. Trump forces CBS into humiliating settlement that will leave their viewers furious. Why does it have to be a humiliating settlement? This is part of that thing where I talked about we're going to have issues with the press. Let's pause right here for a second because I want to go somewhere else with this. Right here. The primary duty and responsibility of the press, often referred to as the media, is to inform the public and act as a watchdog over those in power. This includes investigating and reporting on government actions, holding elected officials accountable, and providing a platform for diverse voices and perspectives. A free and independent press is crucial for a functioning democracy, ensuring transparency and enabling citizens to make informed decisions. I'm 51. I remember often at the feet of my grandmother having to watch the news because one TV, y'all new age kids know nothing about that. one TV in the house and you watched whatever the head of the house, which was my grandmother at the time, you watch what they watched. I remember Dan Rather. I remember Walter Cronkite. I remember when the news was just the news. When the news gave you facts. That's it.
Just the facts, ma'am.
Just the facts. You got editorials in special segments of the news. You mostly got them in newspapers. But true journalists only gave you the facts.
And that's it.
Why do I focus on that? It's because of this, where I was a moment ago. If it's just the facts, why is it Trump forces CBS into humiliating settlement that will leave their viewers furious? Why couldn't it be CBS settles with Donald Trump?
Good question.
Because this isn't the media that I just described to you. This isn't the media that the founding fathers were referring to when they wrote the First Amendment.
No.
This is a new media, an irresponsible media.
You're damn right.
Let's run to my absolute favorite phrase, or I won't say phrase, my favorite quote in the world. The media's the most powerful entity on earth. They have the power to make the innocent guilty and make the guilty innocent. And that's power. Because they control the minds of the masses, the press is so powerful in its image-making role. Note that. In its image-making role, the headline that I read from the Daily Mail, they're already painting a picture. Just in the headline.
Yes, sir.
It can make the criminal look like he's a victim and make the victim look like he's the criminal.
Damn!
This is the press. Now, remember what I said a moment ago when I read the duties of the press. Malcolm X says, this is the press, an irresponsible press.
That's it.
90% of what is consumed by the majority of the American people, and dare I say globally, 90% of what is consumed is biased one way or the other. That is why we call ourselves free mind thinkers. That is why we encourage you to stand up, stand out, and think differently.
Message.
To me, there are very few unbiased, reputable sources. So the best way to get a picture is to consume it all and sort out the bullshit.
Message.
It's like listening to his and her stories. There's his side, there's her side, and somewhere in the middle of that is the truth. The best that you can do is catch the facts that overlap. There are certain things that both sides have to say that's factual. I don't say have to, that they will eventually say that are factual. And you take those pieces and you use your own damn common sense, people.
Please and thank you.
I'll go on. It will make the criminal look like he's the victim and make the victim look like he's the criminal. If you aren't careful, the newspaper will have you hating the people who are being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing. That is Malcolm X. He said that in 1962.
Damn.
How much is that can be applied to modern day media? So going back to what I was saying, CBS and Paramount are set to pay a humiliating settlement. God, I hate bias. To Donald Trump that goes beyond millions in cash payouts and could flood their liberal audiences with conservative content. Holy God in heaven, how did they get that to there? Exaggeration? Oh, dear God.
It is not that critical.
Now, you might be wondering, in case you didn't know, what's going on. And hopefully, I'm reading this with you pretty much for the first time. I'm reading this with you, and I hope they go into it. The president is set to get $16 million from CBS and Paramount straight away to reimburse him for legal fees for what he claims is misleading editing to an interview before the election with rival Kamala Harris. The remaining money will help fund a future presidential library and serve some of Trump's favorite charities at his discretion. Now, I'm scrolling down here to get to the meat of it. What was this lawsuit over? It just simply says for what he claims were misleading editing in an interview with Kamala Harris. Here we go. The suit, filed last October, accuses Paramount, CBS, and its flagship show, 60 Minutes, of deceptively editing an interview with then Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris just weeks before the election. Trump alleges the footage was manipulated to tip the scales in Harris's favor. Lawyers for Trump and CBS parent company Paramount have been engaged in good faith advanced settlement negotiations, according to the court filings. Now it appears that Trump is set to get more than even the $20 million a mediator for both sides proposed, and is set to have a new rule named after himself at the network. Trump alleges the 60 Minutes footage was manipulated to tip the scales in Harris's favor. Now we know a media wouldn't dare edit or try to edit some footage to make a president look bad, especially Trump. He's got to be mistaken. There is not a news cycle in the world, a news entity on the planet that would try to edit footage to make Trump look bad, right?
No.
Oh, wait. What? Trump didn't ignore a disabled child. Question: did Donald Trump ignore a disabled child who tried to shake his hand? No, a viral clip omitted Trump's earlier interaction with the boy.
Care to revise your statement, sir?
What? Do you want to change your bullshit story, sir?
But the video clip, which has received more than 250,000 views on YouTube, is misleading. It doesn't show Trump's earlier interaction with the young boy, who also wasn't trying to shake Trump's hand. So is it crazy to think that the media would edit something in an effort to make Trump look bad and boost his opposition?
Hell no. To the no.
Well, there you have it. And that's not the first time the media has edited something to make something look bad.
Yeah.
What a responsible press would have done was get the entire story. That's what a responsible press would do. But as I said, this press hasn't been responsible in decades now.
Yeah, that was it. That's it.
All right, that was just a taste. If you want the whole meal, then follow us over on Rumble under Free Mind Thinkers. There you'll get the whole, unedited, full context version of this video. This is your man, Big Brother Tucker, reminding you to stand up, stand out, think differently. Holla.